is the Bill Squire Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to this week's episode of the Bill Squire Show. I am your host, Bill Squire, and I'm here with my guest this week, Zachariah Durr.
Hi everyone, I'm here too.
And Whoopsie barking in the background as always. So, thank you for joining me today. You are a new TV star.
Yes,
That is the biggest star.
The correct term is star.
When do you get your star on the Hollywood Boulevard?
Good point. How much
tomorrow
is that?
Or Wednesday?
It's scheduled for next week.
Okay.
How much is that? How many millions of dollars is it to get a star put on?
It's a lot, but I want to say it's not like $1 million. I want to say it's like 100,000 or something like that.
Is that it?
I don't know.
I'll do it.
You'll do it just for that?
Yeah.
You can finance that.
I can.
Maybe it's probably $1 million though. I don't know.
Well, never mind.
What if it's 900,000?
Yeah, I'd do it.
Okay, so as long as it's under $1 million.
$1 million's ridiculous.
Yeah, but 900,000.
The bank
doable.
will approve me for anything under $1 million. Once they hear that I am a local broadcaster,
yes,
who is on occasionally when a movie is not being played for 2 hours at night, they'll say, "Right this way, sir. The real bank vault."
You what is the new show called?
The new show is the Big Bad B-Movie Show. It is your classic creature feature horror movie hosted show. I play Leopold, and my co-host Laura Wimbles plays Lenora. We are two people who have been trapped in the WUAB Studios movie vault for years, and we've just been released, and now we are sharing all of these horrible horror movies onto the public. And we have little skid-em-ups, we have host bits, fake ads. It's really whatever we want to do running rampant whenever it's between movie segments.
Well, that's fun. How long do the segments get to be?
Well, we're on whenever the movie isn't. So for this first episode that we just did, which was Attack of the Giant Leeches, that movie is an hour long.
Okay.
Because it was made to play as a double feature. So we had to have, with ads, almost half an hour of original content.
That's okay. So you I mean, that's like a full-on show. Like
A Seinfeldian length.
Yeah,
yes.
that's quite a bit of content to have to come up with on a weekly basis, which is cool, and that's probably pretty fun for you. And what's well, I didn't get to watch it because I was, it's Saturday night. I'm out on the town driving my kids to haunted houses and stuff.
Did you actually go to a haunted house last night?
I dropped Jace and his girlfriend off at a haunted house.
And how does that work now? How does
it's all timed out.
Okay.
So like you go and you buy your tickets, and then you have to go in order, and they sell a certain amount of tickets for each hour, and then they, waiting in line, you're spaced out, and going through the haunted house, you're spaced out, and the actors are all like, no one's jumping out or like they're on like platforms and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
So it definitely isn't the normal experience for that one. That's what they told me. But it's, they still had fun.
But if you have a really long pole or something, you can still bang that around next to people's heads or something.
Yeah,
right?
a
6-foot pole.
I think it's just hard for them because they said like in some of the haunted houses they only had a few actors, like one or two.
Wow.
And I think that's just the biggest problem is finding people willing to go and do that work this time of year.
Sure.
Where normally, there's plenty of them, but it always tapers off towards the end. Like the closer you get to Halloween, the actors are always like quitting or getting fired because it's like thankless work, ridiculous hours, and it's just so it really has to be like a passion job.
Yeah, you're sick. You had an argument with a different teen who's playing the head zombie.
Right.
Yeah, I can't imagine what a turnover that must be.
I couldn't imagine trying to like recruit people and just like to schedule that and just have them be there consistently and not go over the line and all the things, because the people that want to do it are the ones that are going to go too far, and you're like, you can't do that.
I once interviewed people who were running a haunted house, and it was like interviewing elementary school teachers.
Yeah,
it's a lot of just corralling kids in rubber masks,
and that's exactly what I would not want to do, and why I wouldn't want to do it. But it's part of it. Mm-hmm. That's the life you've chosen.
If you have a camp counselor mentality, that's probably a perfect job for you.
Yeah. I don't. I would not want to do that.
I don't have it long term. If it's the actual duration of a camp, which I've had to do, I'm okay with it. If it goes beyond a month, my fuse is burnt out and I can't do it anymore.
Yeah, I would maybe make it a week, but I feel like the third time the kid that's getting bullied came to me, I'd be like, I don't know, maybe you do suck.
You are a very patient person though, and you do you have.
Well, I'm patient in that I distance myself from people in a way that provides me with that patience. So I can deal with certain people up close, but for the most part, I have a pretty small circle of people and know how to deal with people in a way where most of the time I'm just removing myself from the situation, and that's the patience that I have.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
It is
so that when I am tested, I can handle it because I've built up enough patience for the situation or whatever is going on that I can get through it. But if I had to do it on a daily basis, like if I was a manager or something like that, it would not be good.
High school teachers, middle school teachers who just have the rawest emotions being fired at them.
Yes.
Every day. I don't know how they do it.
No,
most of them don't. I had a lot of burnt out teachers.
Yeah, I feel like most of my teachers were pretty burnt out. And I think when it comes to, they're living in a YouTube comment section on a daily basis. Just like you said, the rawest emotions where people are just unbridled. They don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
So they're either completely shut down or they're just angry or just worked up all the time. And so good for you, teachers.
Good for you, teachers. Unless you're burnt out and you're taking it out on your students, and then
bad for you, teacher.
Take a break. You need a break so bad.
So one of the things that I wanted to do this week, I thought about this for whatever reason. I thought of this one clip from Sabrina the Teenage Witch, and it's probably just because of some playlist that I had on that reminded me of the Violent Femmes being on that show. And then I started thinking of all these other moments on 90s shows and early 2000 shows where they would shoehorn in a band for a scene, and it a lot of times it didn't make a lot of sense why it would be that band. The Violent Femmes being on Sabrina the Teenage Witch, which is a show for probably 10-year-old girls, and the Violent Femmes were not a band for 10-year-old girls.
Are they on the same label? Are they on Warner Brothers Records or something?
It's probably something like
There's
that.
a lot of synergy. As soon as rock music started to hit pop culture, sitcoms started shoehorning in bands. It never goes well.
It's always bad.
They either get a band that is comically lame and everyone has to pretend to be the world's biggest fan of them. Mm-hmm. That's funny.
I'm very excited to show some of that because that's kind of what's going on with Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Even though I like the Violent Femmes, it just doesn't work for the popular cool girl in the school to be a super Violent Femmes fan.
And the other thing that would happen is you would get bands way past their prime.
Yeah.
Also funny to watch teens worked up. And that also goes for, I wouldn't say the Violent Femmes were washed up, but...
they were just obscure.
Yeah.
They're just an obscure band that had one song that people know, but if you walked on the street, you'd have to sing the song. You wouldn't be able to... Nobody knows the name of the band that sings it.
Sabrina would have to be very into Grosse Pointe Blank.
Yes. There's also, and I didn't find this clip, but there's an episode of Saved by the Bell where they're waiting in line to buy tickets to a concert because they're going to buy them all and then resell them. And it's for U2, which I thought was they just went with I don't know, who's a band right now that sells out concerts? And they're U2? And it's 1994 or 92 even maybe.
Right. Still a big band, but weird for the quote coolest guy in school.
For the cool kids in as a child, I didn't really know who U2 was. That was my introduction to U2, and they don't play any music. They just say U2 a bunch of times, and I'm like,
oh, really? Bono was not on the show?
Yeah. So I thought that was a weird one. But we'll start with this Sabrina the Teenage Witch one because.
And what year is this episode? Do we know?
It might be down here. I don't. 1990 middles. Yeah.
Let's.
You think he was filming this? And I know she's supposed to be 16, 17-year-old girl.
The 24-year-old actress playing that teenager.
Yeah.
He is probably in his mid-40s.
I'm playing this? like at this point.
I think that's how old he probably was. I think
Yeah.
they were pretty young in the 80s.
Yeah.
This was filmed in 1997.
Okay, so yeah, he's probably into his 40s.
Yeah, and I realize he's had a hard-lived life.
Mm-hmm.
But
Well, I feel like they
doesn't
look pretty young. They look
they're
all right.
younger, sure.
But and I also like that they say Gordon Gano so much right off the bat, just to be like, oh, they're huge fans. They know his name, and like I'm sure all through the episode, I can't remember exactly, but I remember them waiting in line and just being like way too pumped up for meeting the Violent Femmes, and like her having this crush on him, where the reason she's wearing the glasses is to like save up her like personal magic to hypnotize him with her, sultry stare.
This clip is unique in the fact that it's actually funny.
Yeah.
Like the thanks for coming, that's a funnier gag than
Yeah.
you get from most sitcoms like this.
Right, them just being kind of disconnected from their fans. Like, that's pretty
Good on them for playing that.
Yeah. All right. An element of this episode is her aunts they transform themselves to look younger so that they could hang out with them all night, and that was the caveat that they could go.
Oh, so they are in disguise.
They're in disguise
to everyone else. I see. Okay.
So,
boy, this is complicated.
it's a complicated show,
sitcom.
but they put themselves in tricky situations on a regular basis, and it always ends up pretty decent.
Well, that's a relief.
Yeah,
I thought this one was one of those hard-bitten series where everyone's dead at the end.
No, the like I know they did like a reboot of this on Netflix where it's like.
Yes,
Like all angsty and stuff like this, but this one was very much just like jokey sitcom with the Salem the cat, which is like the weird animatronic cat, which is
it looked
nightmare
like
and
dead cat with a string in its mouth. Yeah.
All right, so that is the one that jogged my memory, and then you sent me this one, which is probably
I did not send you this one.
the Flaming Lips one.
Oh, this
one is fantastic.
Oh.
So this is on a similar level to the randomness, and the Flaming Lips, they had sort of a moment in the 90s because of being on the Batman Forever soundtrack.
Before that, they had this was a hit. This was a hit before Batman Forever. But Flaming Lips, this was not like the now venerated art rock band Flaming Lips. This was their novelty song that somehow became a hit in the early 90s.
Yeah.
And then they were on this show. Should we say what's going to be?
They were playing at the Peach Pit on 90210, which is, and this is Tiffany Amber Thiessen year, so this is a little later in the series run, and it's it comes across very organic and natural, and exactly how kids in 90210 would have received the Flaming Lips.
It's so cool we've got lined up to play tonight.
I can't take waiting around for this mystery band.
Hey, I know who it is. And I gotta tell you, as ticked off as I am at Valerie, the Empress definitely is cutting edge this time.
Okay, who'd you get?
Like I care. Excuse me, everybody. Can I have your attention? I think it's good time to change the mood around here, don't you think?
Where's the mystery act?
Funny you should ask. They're backstage and ready to go. Please help me welcome the cool, the crazy, the fabulous Flaming Lips.
Unfortunately, no dialogue from Wayne Coyne or the Flaming Lips. I always love it when they give the drummer lines to read. But how do we get there?
Yeah. We don't have our instruments.
It looks like they smeared peanut butter on his mouth and just dubbed it in later.
So they let them play like a full song.
A whole song, pretty much.
Like, it's...
They play enough of a song that you'll get flagged.
Yeah. And then I like them reacting, and then there's still drama happening, and they're all very into it, but, not exactly how these kids would have received the
how
Flaming
these 35-year-olds.
Yeah, these 35-year-old children. Yeah, they rock the house, man. Great dialogue. And then you get to the all-time shoehorn bands, which was John Stamos making demands that he gets to be on a TV show and play with the Beach Boys, or he's not going to do this season. I imagine that's why this kept happening.
Well, John Stamos was a drummer with them.
Yeah.
For a minute. So I'm sure, he was all buddy-buddy. Probably.
Okay, so he was doing that before...
Yes,
okay.
He's in the Kokomo video.
Okay.
And so he had an in, and I'm sure he was buddy with Mike Love, the Nightmare band member from Beach Boys. Mm-hmm. And at this point, this is a real confusing for a teen to be into moment, because the Beach Boys were just classic, old person classic rock, like Jimmy Buffett level of reputation at this point.
It's stuff that I always knew growing up, but it's one of those things where, like, even my dad was like, yeah, I remember listening to the Beach Boys when I was a kid. Like, that's his stories of the Beach Boys.
However, this teenager, this preteen at this point, is she like 12 or 13 in the series?
Who, DJ?
DJ?
Yeah, I think so.
She wins two tickets to see the Beach Boys. And I believe her uncles are all vying to go with her, so she can't decide, and so nobody's going to go to the concert because everybody in this show is an adult.
I said I'm not going.
Well, if you're not going, then no one is going.
Come on, what do you mean nobody's going?
You're out of it. Why is she
Excuse me. I'm on the phone.
The laugh track button on this show just must have been worn to a nub. Every time a child says something, it's hilarious.
No. Bye.
Who was it?
Some beach boy. He caught from a limo right in our driveway. I told him no one was going. Wait!
Oh, it's sinking in.
Did I miss something?
Catch him! Hold it! Wait! Okay.
All the Beach Boys are at the door, and then Brian Wilson just looking 5 seconds from a full-on freak out.
Beach Boys. Come on in. Would you mind wiping your feet first?
Mike Love has a real creep show Terry Bradshaw look in this.
Yeah,
shirt half button tucked into his khakis, ball cap. They're all still vain enough to not want to look bald.
And they're all pretty old too. Like they're
definitely all.
Like, Bruce, you're Brian, you're Carl, you're Mike.
Deep 40s, early 50s.
Yeah.
Love your songs, love your music. Hey, Mike. Is there a DJ Tanner here?
Yeah, that's me. Hi.
As someone that has worked in the radio business for 7 years now,
this is very accurate.
This is so accurate. Whenever you win tickets to a concert, usually the band is the one that is in charge of all that.
Sure.
They make sure all the giveaways happen, and then they also make sure that you have a ride there, that you have the best seats, and that if there's more people that want to go, they will accommodate all those people.
Well, they'll just go to your house and play a couple songs for you if they find out that you have too many uncles.
Yeah, exactly. And that, it's one of those things because they want their fans to be happy. They don't just give you garbage tickets that are in the upper level. They will go above and beyond to make sure that it is the greatest experience of your life.
Didn't realize that Beach Boy was wearing his own band's hat.
I mean, that's how you know he's in the Beach Boys.
Yeah, well, that is true.
I mean,
yeah, that's true.
I do have. Did you see the shoe that Jim painted for me?
I did see that. That's terrific.
Yeah.
Town?
No, it's a long story.
Well, we've got time. They never start the show without us.
Let's order a vegetarian pizza.
That was creepy.
Is that a reference to something? I don't really know this
I don't remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
And if it was her favorite food or something.
Big boys.
Cute kid.
And they're just hanging out there for a while, doing an acoustic set.
Is Brian? No, Brian Wilson is not singing. Every shot of Brian Wilson is just him kind of looking around. Oh, here we go. For Fuller House, they should do another episode, but they're going to see Brian Wilson, and he's in a catatonic state. They have to pour sand all over their living room to get him to wake up.
I don't know a ton about the Brian Wilson story. What I know that, like, I know the song that they're who is it? Bare Naked Ladies did about him. lying in bed just like Brian Wilson did.
Oh,
so but I know anyone know he's like abused by his father and stuff like that. Or
yeah. He just had a full freak out. I don't know exactly what his mental condition is, but he's definitely probably something around obsessive compulsive.
Okay,
that's why he kept re-recording the same pieces of pet sounds over and over and over again, and eventually he couldn't release any music. And basically, the generally accepted premise is that his doctor, who was pumping him full of meds, and his brother, Mike Love, was just kind of dragging him along the concert circuit, making him perform.
Okay.
And the one bad thing, there was
sad.
It is sad. Luckily, he broke away from all that stuff. There's a movie where John Cusack plays Brian Wilson, and the only bad point about that movie is there is no scene showing him filming this episode of Full House with Dave Coulier doing a Bullwinkle impression for him.
That's all I ever wanted.
Have you seen Coulier lately?
He used to come pretty regularly to Hilarities.
Does he still do Bullwinkle? That's my question.
I'm pretty sure he did. I'm pretty sure he did.
Now it's just people going, who?
Well, his audience was women my age.
But now wouldn't it be kids because of Fuller House?
I don't know how much he's on that. And I don't think and I think he was only doing stand-up when he didn't have TV shows. So if he's part of Fuller House, he's probably like, I don't need to go out
he's
on the
okay
road.
to not be in
He
the
hasn't been
Chuckle
on the
Hut.
road in a while, I feel like.
Got it.
So the last one I have is Remy Zero. The Gene Wilder one, like that, it was like the full episode and I couldn't cut it all down.
Oh, okay.
But
I mean, I can tell you the moment that.
Yeah, so it's
the
Alice
big moment,
Cooper on Gene Wilder show, Something Wilder, which I don't think I ever watched. I just remember promos for it where he was trying to use a ping pong.
No one watched it.
It was, but like it was the same promo that ran constantly, but I feel like nobody ever, because I just remember that moment where he was trying to use like the ball paddle thing. And he's like, this thing's crazy. And like, I'm like, oh man, Gene Wilder. Even as a kid, I'm like, this guy was amazing, and this is not where he wants to be.
Oh, it's the crummiest, most generic sitcom, and the idea is that Alice Cooper is filming a music video in this suburban house next to his suburban house. Mm-hmm. He's making too much noise, and this was filmed in 1994, and it's Alice Cooper, but everyone's treating it as though this is like the current day Marilyn Manson.
Right.
And it's very, very, it's the perfect amount of awkward where everyone is acting as though this is this crazy rebel.
Yeah.
And it's a man in his late 50s.
Yeah.
There's like a German dominatrix in the house and everyone's...
That's actually a pretty funny idea for an episode.
It may be...
Like if they would have done it in a way where they're like, well, Alice Cooper's a lot different. Like if they acknowledge that, which I'm sure they didn't.
I have a feeling as though it was a script that was sitting in somebody's filing cabinet from the 70s or 80s with young Alice Cooper. And then this came along and they went, I can dig this one out again.
Yeah, we can make this happen. All right. So would you rather go with, which one should we end on? Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Remy Zero on Smallville? Because Remy Zero on Smallville is one of my favorites. So I think
we'll end on that.
All right.
And you can edit this out, but you don't have the Super Mario Brothers Milli Vanilli.
Oh,
that's actually my favorite.
Oh, that's your favorite? I can pull it up just because it was.
So this next episode is from the Super Mario Brothers 3 cartoon where they meet Milli Vanilli. Princess Peach is, of course, a #1 Milli Vanilli fan. They all go to the real world to see their concert. And when I saw this episode, which I did not watch it as a kid, I was watching it for this, I thought, boy, they couldn't get these actors to do a better German accent. And then I learned it's really the guys from Milli Vanilli acting on the show.
That's fantastic.
And see if you can tell who the pro voice actor is and
who's not.
Is Milli Vanilli.
All right.
Welcome to Castle Cooper. Hi, boys. I've been expecting you.
Hey, who's behind this Mondo Bizarro joke?
We have a concert to play. Not so fast. You're playing for me now. I really dig your dreadlocks.
Aggressive.
Well, I don't dig tails and scaly lips.
I'll have you know I am a royal reptile, and I command you to play a private concert for me this instant!
And if we don't?
I'll turn you into accountants!
Accountants?
That is a good one.
And she turns them both into business suit wear.
We're nerds.
We're dweebs.
This is terrible. You turn us back to normal people right now.
To normal people. She's actually turned you into normal people. That's fantastic.
I think this won an award for most irritating voices.
So this
but I did enjoy it.
Like the theme song was by Remy Zero.
Right.
Somebody Save Me. And this is like the season finale of the first season, and it's like they're at the big school dance, and there's a tornado coming, and
yes, I do remember this.
So
yeah.
they just get to the school dance, and this is kind of how it all unfolds.
Great time. I promise her a night she'll never forget. I'm glad you finally stepped up, Clark. Yeah, me too. Hey, I like these guys. Yeah. Remy Zero!
So it's just that moment to me is just so awkward and wonderful, and just like it stuck with me over all these years, where I haven't watched this since probably 2004. I got like the Smallville DVDs and just like poured through them, and I couldn't tell you much about this show, but I always remember this moment because it was so shoehorned in. Even
when you were young and you get excited because there's a band that you like on the show, it was the most uncomfortable thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because there was always something off about it.
Right. And just the fact that like he's like, I like this band, right? Who is this? Oh, Remy Zero, they're playing a high school prom in Kansas.
Which actually would mean that you're pretty terrible.
Yeah, right. And they never make it something funny. That's why I kind of like the one with Sabrina the Teenage Witch, where they know it's a ridiculous situation that they're in, and they're like, thanks for coming. Whereas this is like, they wouldn't be playing this band, so like, why not make it kind of funny and be like, oh, This is a cover band or something like that.
You can tell the Violent Femmes liked the Monkees.
Yeah.
And that's what they're basically doing.
Right.
This is just corporate synergy.
Yeah, exactly. I did not watch the full scene. It's still another 2 minutes. Should we plow through and see if there's anything good here? Also, Chloe, who is the blonde girl in this,
I was gonna say only if she talks about the weird new group of friends that she's made.
Yeah, the sex cult that she ended up joining after this show ended.
Yeah,
and she was a main recruiter. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, didn't those hearings just end?
I think so.
Is she going to?
I'm not sure. Oh, they're playing another song? They're trying to push another song.
Hey, this is one of Chloe's favorite songs.
Wait. Okay, so the situation here is that he didn't know who this band was, and then his friend knows that it's Remy Zero, and that their song that's not their hit song was her favorite. That is very coincidental.
I mean, could we be kind and say that Clark is an alien who is new, so he does not know the Earth's most popular band?
He's not
Zero?
new.
Oh, that's true. That's right. He was a baby when he came here.
Yeah, he didn't get there. He's a dunce. He didn't get there this week. He's very aloof, and he's really pretty selfish on this show. You see a lot of times.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming by. That was a lot of fun going through all this dumb shit. And I think I'm going to watch some more episodes of that Super Mario Brothers cartoon.
Oh, yeah. It's worth a rewatch.
Yeah. And then where can people watch? Yeah. Where can people find your show?
They can watch it every Saturday night at 8 p.m. on CW43 WUAB, and also very soon it will be streaming on the CW43 website.
Well, that's a lot of fun. Thanks for coming by, and enjoy this next segment with this week's Instagram hottie.
Bye.
Squire, and I am here with this week's Instagram hottie, Tequila. Oh, wait. I got to turn your mic up. That helps. There we go. Try that again. Do your dun-dun-dun again.
Dun, dun, dun.
There it is. All right. So we were just talking a little bit, and you have a wild story, like wild stories.
So wild.
So many wild stories, but we don't even have to get into that right away. First of all, you're very beautiful, and
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you being on here today.
No,
and
thanks.
I also, you are a blogger, and I mean, what do you do with your time?
Okay. Well, first, thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
And what I do with my time is I help people create OnlyFans accounts.
Oh, really?
And
Well, I know a lot of people that, like, I've been interviewing OnlyFans girls, like every other interview that I do on here is OnlyFans. So you can give some of those girls tips on stuff, but you don't want to give it away for free.
no, not for free.
Not for free, but what's like a little tip that you can give away for free?
Okay, so if you really aren't working and you can't afford me, then if you live on the west side like me and you, I can help you create a cardboard sign.
Yeah.
And I know great spots on 117 that you can stand. We can start there.
We'll start there. All right. That'll get you some income, so then you can afford her services. That's funny.
Okay, but seriously.
But seriously, that's what you do? You help girls make their OnlyFans? Or
Okay, no.
Do you make any guys?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So a lot of guys want to show their hairy legs.
Yeah.
I've got a couple that
You're
want
dry as fuck. You are. There's always a market for that, but guys give stuff away for free.
Oh yeah, for sure. They're
That's
just
like-
hey, you know.
You want to check out these hairy legs?
Yeah, literally.
You want to see this dick that's not that impressive?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Like,
guys
can I
love
do it
doing
while
that.
I'm soft, or should my balls go in front or behind? I'm like, whatever.
Put the balls in front. Leave a little
Literally.
mystery.
Literally. Should I pull it back because I'm circumcised or uncircumcised? Or...
That's a choice. I mean, what are you trying to tell the girl?
Right.
You know?
Right.
You're trying to tell her, like, hey, this is the only hood I'm into. What do you say?
So seriously, what I do, personally, I work for a small clinic, and I'm the program manager there. So I help do all like the strategic marketing.
Okay. But then you also have kind of like an
blah,
entertainment
blah.
side where you do,
Yeah.
you know, you were doing a little show of your own for a while, and then you did, like I saw that you're a blogger and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
and you kind of like to talk about topical things and just lifestyle stuff.
Yeah. So one thing about me is I like when people are 100% authentically themselves.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of like what I blog about and what I talk about. It's like, how can you be 100% yourself? So for example, if like you were to come on the show, I would want to like dig deep and see what people don't know about you.
Dig in. I mean, I'm pretty open about most of my life. Probably to like people are like, you didn't need to share that. But yeah, I like to be pretty open, and especially like about things that a lot of guys see as weakness, like being open about emotions and insecurities and stuff like that. Where a
Right.
lot of guys are like, oh, I'm a tough guy. I'm not afraid of anything. I'm all about talking about that stuff because I think that's actually more courageous than just acting like you're not afraid.
So do you want to get married?
Not again. I was married before.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
There goes my husband.
Yeah, well, I mean, sorry.
Well, do you want to have kids?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence about that because in the past, like I have the stepkids we were talking about earlier who are like my kids. And there was a time when I really wanted to have kids, but the way the world's been recently and everything, just I'm less inclined to have kids now.
Dang. So I missed my mark on both.
Yeah.
Wow. Because I'm really loving your facial hair right now.
Oh, I just trimmed it today.
Oh, man.
I trimmed it today because I didn't want to look like one of those guys in the Michigan terrorist group. Because I'm like, man, those guys all kind of look like me. So I'm going to trim my beard and make it nice. And that way I look like someone that calls it a terrorist group and not a militia.
Well, what about your hair? Like, how do you get it?
I just have some product in it. And then I like blow dry it. And then it gets that nice dry look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
But it's soft, but it stays in place. And then it's also I didn't think it was going to be this warm in October.
Literally.
And so now it's like I'm sweating while we're filming this.
It's okay. I'm sweating too.
Okay, but I'm sweating from the face.
I'm sweating below.
Yeah.
Dude.
I wish my girlfriend was here. You know I have a girlfriend, right? Because you're very cute, and she would be into you.
Yeah. So, hey,
Are you
girlfriend.
into girls?
No, but I can be.
Oh, that's very open.
Yeah.
Maybe we will get married.
Yeah,
We'll
seriously.
see.
So
Have some
I'm
sister
down
wives.
to try something new. So,
There you go.
Hey, girlfriend,
Yeah.
come and
She will
touch my boobs.
Hmm.
They're D's.
Yep. Well, you are a big fan of comedy. Are you a fan of comedy? Or you just friends with John?
So yes, I am a huge fan of comedy.
Yes.
I am like, I love to get a good laugh in and out, about, all around.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, if and Carly, my good friend too.
Oh, Carly's great.
So they're always telling me about different shows that are happening around this town, and I'm just like, yes. I do work like weird, crazy hours sometimes, so I can't go to all of them, but I am always like trying to get to every single one.
Well, that's awesome, and we appreciate the support, and I've seen you regularly at the crowd work show that we do.
Yes.
At Hilarities, which is one of the funnest shows. And it's one of those things where like you can't really explain it. You have to go and see it.
Literally.
Like you have to be there and like watch it build and watch like how everybody's real tight at the beginning of the night and they're like, I don't really know what's going on here. And then by the end, everybody's just laughing and having a good time and just like everybody kind of comes together as this unit to just like laugh all together. It's great.
Seriously, I love everyone that has ever gotten upstage.
Yeah. It's great. And it's one of those things where, it's comedy without a net. You're going up there for those of you that don't know crowd work shows, you're talking to the audience and creating the comedy with the audience. The audience is basically your like improv partner, and they can be just as funny as the people on stage, and you just get these crazy like authentic moments that are just you can't ever recreate.
And I'm so glad you said that.
And that's that authenticity that you like.
That is like, I love that. It just feels like it's not written.
Right.
It's not like, oh, and then yeah, so then let me tell you about the time that me and my mom was like
yeah.
And then
which is good too, but in this format, it definitely adds to the excitement of it because there can be some tension where you're like waiting for someone to get a laugh, getting a laugh.
Yeah.
And then they come through and then everybody's so relieved because everybody's kind of rooting for you. Like everybody's like, yes, this guy, you can do it. You can do it. And that's what makes it so fun and so unique.
Yeah, seriously. I love it.
Yeah. So you've been coming to comedy shows. You are adopted, you were telling me.
Yes.
And you are you kind of had a crazy upbringing where you just had a lot of adversity thrown your way. And what did you do to kind of develop the coping skills to overcome all that? Because that's stuff that lasts a lifetime, and not everybody gets to that point.
Ooh, good question.
Yeah, I get deep on here.
Oh gosh. So let's see, coping skills. Well, I tried cutting myself.
Okay.
And that didn't work. It hurt more than
it hurts a lot.
Yeah, than to cope with anything. I was just like, ow, my arms are seriously like hurting.
I've experienced that with family members that have gone through that, and it was very, very upsetting. And like, luckily they've gotten past it too. But that is one of those things where it seems like I understand it. Like you want to feel something else. It gives you something to concentrate on. It's a controlled pain. It's all that stuff, but it's also so damaging and just so.
It's so damaging.
It's like not just physically but psychologically.
Literally,
because it does become addictive.
It really does.
Yeah.
And I hung around with people, of course, who like did it too. And then I just kind of was like, I don't know, like this hurts more than like I'm still thinking about the pain.
Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
And then
how did you? So it's just the pain that you're like, I'm sick of it.
Yeah.
You kind of quit cold turkey.
Yeah, literally cold turkey.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do it, but then like when I thought about like it hurt, it really does hurt.
Yeah.
And especially if you're not like experienced when you're like you've done it for like years and you just like know where to cut. Like it really hurts.
Yeah.
So I just kind of was like, okay.
Enough of that.
After like a couple months, I was like, okay, I'm done. And the doctor was like, yeah, you're going to get scarring everywhere. And I was just like, yeah, so no, okay. Then I tried killing myself a couple times, but it just never happened. I think God was just like, it's not your time. Can you just stop?
What did you do to try and
So I
take your
swam
life?
in high school, and I tried drowning myself. But I guess since I swam in high school, like
it wasn't.
It was just like, oh, okay, I've held my breath for the longest I could, so I'm coming up now. So that didn't work.
Well, that's your body's fight or flight response, and I think your body, when you get put in that position, when you talk to people that have attempted suicide, or there's a documentary about people that were jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah.
And one person survived, and he said as soon as he jumped off, his first thought was this was a huge mistake. And he's so happy that he lived through, even though his body isn't what it used to be because he damaged it so immensely.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things where it's just so like you think that until you do it.
Yeah, seriously.
So,
I tried
so try to drown yourself. What's the other?
I tried drugs, every drug known to man.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with this guy who was totally awesome. And we would go to like these different house parties and just like try different stuff. We tried mushrooms, different kind of peels and cocaine and just like literally everything. And then I did that for a couple years. And one time I went to a house party and I was like rolling up a blunt and I went to the bathroom. So I told someone else to finish. And they laced me. I end up not remembering the whole night. I end up passing out in this lady's driveway butt naked in my own throw up. And that was just like an eye opener. And I was like, okay, well, clearly I think I tried everything. So I probably should just go to a therapist.
And try and get some shit together. Yeah.
And then that's how I coped with everything.
Well, good for you for going to a therapist and getting through all that, because that is a very difficult time to go through. I was at my breaking point when I was in the Philippines. I was a Mormon missionary, raised Mormon, and that's like a big deal. You have to go to that. You always have to follow these really strict rules. And I was severely depressed and just wanted to not be alive anymore. And so I was actually getting ready to jump off of a building that I lived in. Like I was on the roof, just sitting there contemplating it for a while, just like bawling the whole time.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't do it, but it was definitely like one of those things where I'm like, all you gotta do is push, and you're gone.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it, but it was definitely like one of those things where I was like, I came to the decision that I was gonna live my life for me more,
right,
and stop being what my dad wanted me to be or the church wanted me to be, and just and try and be happy. And it didn't all happen right in that moment, but over the years and through therapy and through just experiencing life and going through those ups and downs, I got to a much healthier place.
Yes, I recommend therapy for everyone.
I agree.
For people that think they don't have a problem, like I feel like there's always some deep-rooted problem that you're.
Oh yeah, everybody's got walls. Everybody's got.
That you're not facing.
Everybody's got walls and trauma, and therapy is great. And being able to go in there and go in with an open mind and find the right therapist for you to be able to feel comfortable to kind of dig into your brain and see what's holding you back is just a wonderful experience.
Seriously. So if you're listening and you think that we're crazy, you should go to therapy.
Yeah, because you're also crazy. Just so you know. And there's nothing wrong with it. And there used to be such a stigma against it. And I think there's still some stigma against it, but I think therapy is absolutely necessary to be a healthy, functioning adult. And I think that's like a lot of people, you see all the hate and turmoil in our country right now. And a lot of that just comes from people having their own issues, and they want to blame someone else. They go, well, it's your fault because you're black. I'm a white person. Things aren't as good as I want them to be. Well, it's these black people that are holding me back.
Right.
So it's just, go to therapy, figure yourself out.
Seriously. Oh, and another thing that I didn't tell you was therapy helped me a lot because, as I was telling you before, I'm adopted. And when I finally met my twin brother when I was almost adult, I thought it was going to be some life-changing experience. Like, oh my God, like kind of, what's that movie called?
Parent Trap.
Yes. So I thought it was going to be just like that. Like, oh my God, he's going to know. It's a boy. He totally knew that I was feeling this way for a long time, and he felt the same way, and I felt this way because of him. But it was totally weird. It was just like, we were sitting like this. I was like, hi. How's your mom? Good. How's your mom? Good. Okay, well, it was nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, that was weird.
That was very weird. That's kind of similar. My kids, like I said, are my stepchildren. They haven't seen their dad since they were very little.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think my oldest was around 5. The other 2 were, they really had no memories of him.
Oh.
So a few years ago, he came up, and they saw him, and they were all excited.
Mm-hmm.
And then after meeting him and like spending like a little bit of time with him, they're like that was when it was solidified in their mind that I was their dad.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, this is like the guy we have a relationship with, that we can come to our problems with. Like this guy is biologically our dad, but we don't have any trust in him. We don't have any relationship. There's no chemistry there. He's just a guy. Literally. And so they saw that, and it was very eye-opening, very similar experience to what you went through, where they're just like, this is just, they had these high expectations for it because you think it's going to answer all these questions, and it does answer questions, but in a different way.
Literally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no.
Because and that goes back to therapy, where people have expectations about what life is and how life is going to go, and it puts you on this, it puts you on this course where you think that things should go a certain way, and so when they don't, it becomes very depressing.
Yeah, no, expectations is like my biggest struggle.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm in love with my best friend.
Oh.
And so I expect him to be someone that he's not. Like, not my best friend, but still my best friend, but like more than my best friend, but still remain my best friend, but can be more than my best friend sometimes.
Yeah.
But then also be my best friend like other times.
That's very difficult.
It's so difficult.
And have you expressed this to him?
Yeah. See.
You want to tell him right now?
Well.
It's more complicated than that?
I'm not going to say any names.
All right.
But yes, I have. But hey, best friend, I am in love with you, and I want to grow old with you, and I need you to get your shit together so we can be one.
All right, that was a little frightening. that was very strong. That wasn't like, hey, I'm confessing my love to you. It's like, hey, you better do this, or I'm coming for you. Because like you got no choice in the matter. It's gonna happen.
Literally, because if you don't, then I'm gonna kill you, and then I'm gonna be forced to kill myself because I don't want to answer to anybody. So just do it.
This is by far the darkest episode that I've done, and I am all for it. So yeah, but I've been in those situations in the past where I kind of would go after someone that was unavailable, or would, the term is friend zone me or something like that.
Yeah.
But it really was just someone that would spend time with me, and I had misplaced feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not saying that's what you have, but I've definitely experienced that in the past where, they weren't reciprocating. Has this person reciprocated the feelings from time to time?
Yeah.
They're just kind of stringing you along.
No. Okay.
Or just not stringing you along, but like not ready, like you said, to move forward or be in a relationship.
My thought on it, on the whole take is that, and I don't want to use this as a crutch, but like he's been hurt before.
That's very common.
He hasn't, to my knowledge, he's only been in love once, and that was the time that he got hurt so bad.
Yeah.
And so now trying to do it again, it's just like, okay, I don't know if I'm ready to put my walls down, and I'm not the easiest person to deal with because I definitely have really bad communication. I like to disclose too much, but then I'm like, see, no, that's not what I meant. I'm like, yeah, I'm in love with you. We can totally do this. And then when it's time, I'm like, wait, hold on. When did I say that? Was that like yesterday? Was I drunk? Hold on.
Let's calm down with that.
Let's take it slow.
Daytime words are different than nighttime words.
Oh, literally.
Yeah.
So I think we just struggle with communication. But ultimately, I would always want him to remain my best friend.
Yeah.
And
well, that's a scary thing too. And like, someone, Mary Santora, is a very, very good friend of mine, and people were always
trying to put
this together. And we're like, no, that's not what this relationship is about. Like we have like when you say like someone's like a brother or sister or something like that, that's very much what our relationship is.
Yeah.
Where like they think when we're fighting on the radio, they think that's like us having chemistry. I'm like, no, we're pissed at each other, and this isn't like sexual tension or anything like that. We're actually just like dealing with each other as best we can.
Yeah, and it's hard with society these days because they want you to like put a title on something, stamp that, like claim it. And that's not so much where I'm at with it. Like, I don't care if we're like, and I don't want to say an item. Like, I don't care if like he says I'm his girlfriend.
Right.
I just want to know.
You just want the connection and the the physical contact, and I'm not just like sex and stuff like that, but being able to like show affection to each other.
Yeah, I want to be connected spiritually, physically, emotionally. I want us to be one so bad that like when I'm like thinking, like you already know my thoughts.
Okay.
Is that
that's a lot to put on somebody?
Yeah.
Because
like, I need you to be God.
Yeah, right. So I can understand why he's a little intimidated by the whole situation, because that's a lot to offer, or that's a lot to ask of somebody. So maybe you need, and we were talking about the expectations, maybe your expectations need to, I wouldn't even say lower, but I would say assess them so that you can say like, okay, what I really want is someone that's attentive. So I don't need them to know what I'm thinking. I just need them to be willing to want to find out.
Ooh, see, that's a good word, because I'm needy.
Yeah.
Like needy. Mm-hmm. Like I need for me to wake up and see that you called me 110 times.
Right.
But
now, what does that mean for you though? Like
you wanted me.
That you wanted,
but
isn't
maybe
that...
you didn't need anything, but you were thinking about me, so you called, and then you were thinking about why I wasn't answering, so then you called again, and then you were thinking about.
I think you got some work to do on yourself before you get into the relationship, because that kind of neediness and that kind of attention seeking is very much, you're looking for a codependent relationship. When what I would suggest is you want someone that, yes, they want that and they're going to show you all that.
Yeah.
But you don't.
I don't need it, but I want it.
Not at that level. Maybe. Ooh. Maybe that level's a little
extreme.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm extreme.
You might be extreme, but that's okay. It's just one of those things where you gotta, again, maybe reframe the expectation to something that's a little more plausible and a little less codependent, a little less
literally.
Yeah. A little less crazy.
Totally not him.
Yeah.
He would never.
But then is that also why it's so enticing to you to think that, hey, if I can get him to this level where he's that into me, then that means I got him. Like, and I think that's the way a lot of people look at a situation where they're like, they might have someone like that in their life, but they're like, oh, I already got that person, I don't need them. But the hunt, the process of trying to get that other person in is so exciting.
Yes and no, because I feel like in every relationship, I've always been, you know how they say you wear the pants?
Yeah.
I've always wore the pants, and I've always been so controlling. So I feel like it's kind of enticing a little bit because he's very controlling. So it's like, I want my way. And then I'm like, no, but I want my way.
Yeah.
And the compromise is so hard.
Yeah. Man, I don't, I get tired just thinking about that. Like that's so not who I am. Like, where if somebody's that controlling, I'm gonna be like, peace. Because I've actually kind of been in that situation before, and I don't even think they were aware of how controlling they were. I think they just really, it was their coping mechanism for what they had been through in the past, where if something was one way in the past, they wanted it completely the opposite in this relationship, to feel like they have control, or they have the upper hand, which I don't think, in a relationship, having the upper hand, those games and shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm not into it.
See, I don't want to play any games.
Yeah.
But I guess at the end of the day, I don't want to be controlling anymore. I really just want to relax, and I just want to know that, like,
you're loved.
I don't have to think about anything else because we've already thought about it together.
See, I think that's a much healthier way to express it.
Okay, there we go.
Than wanting someone to call you 100 times. Like, I was thinking about you all night. I couldn't sleep. I'm going to be miserable today because I didn't get to see you.
Hey, Bill. Yeah. After that episode, he's been sitting outside my house for 4 hours. I'm confused.
No, you got him. You got him right where you want him.
Literally.
So,
what's your favorite color?
My favorite color? I mean, depends on what we're talking about. Like, you're talking about clothes or shoes or anything like that. But like, I like an orange. Well, usually what I say for my favorite color, because I think of like a sunset. Okay. Like that kind of orange pinkish. Like, I really enjoy a sunset.
Literally.
So then, but like when it comes to clothes that I wear, I like blues and reds.
Okay.
I like purple a lot.
But what does your girlfriend say you look good in?
She likes me in purple. She likes me in blue and red, but I wear a lot of black, and I like those more as accent colors than like the main. Like I'm not gonna wear like a purple jacket, but I'll wear a shirt that's got a little purple on it that goes with my shoes that are also purple.
Literally.
That kind of thing. So, what's your favorite color?
Yellow.
I've gotten into fights over this, by the way. Like with my ex-girlfriend, she'd be like, "What, favorite color?" And I'd be like, "I don't know. What am I, 6?
Right.
Like, are we trying to pick crayons here? Like, I don't give a fuck. Like I like a lot of the colors. Like I'm at a point in my life where I can appreciate a wide variety of colors depending on the circumstance of the situation."
Yeah.
All right, but
I
you
think,
said yellow.
Well, yes, yellow is my favorite color. I feel like I also look good in yellow, but I love to wear olive green.
Okay.
And black.
Yes.
Black.
Yeah, I love black.
Because,
Black's the best.
Well,
for clothes.
Yeah, well,
because it's slimming and
it just
it's
looks
slimming
good.
and it looks good and it just
looks
and there's so
polished.
much and there's so much you can do with it.
Yeah.
Where like if you wear certain colors, like and even like grays and stuff like that, I appreciate too. But I like the versatility of it when it comes to like fashion choices.
Literally.
Not that I'm like super fashionable, but I like to kind of look a certain way, and black allows that.
Yeah, and I used to be really big.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
And how big were you?
My fattest, I was like 350 pounds.
We were almost there together.
Okay.
I was 272.
Yeah. That's not quite there, but on a smaller frame, yeah.
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 No. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like a pumpkin.
Yeah. I was a big guy. And like weight isn't even the most, but like the size of me was like enormous because it was just all fat. Like I didn't really have any muscle or anything like that.
Literally.
Like now I walk and I'm not as skinny as I was at one point, but like I have more muscle and stuff like that. So I do okay, but I need, it's always one of those things that's in my mind, but it's not also something that I don't want to be my only focus in life. Because anytime I get into like a real health conscious situation, it's fun for it's good for like a month and a half.
Yeah.
And then I get super depressed.
You're right.
And so it's one of those things where like finding that balance of being like, okay, I make sure I exercise every day. I try to eat okay, but I'm also going to just be okay with who I am.
Seriously.
And that's hard.
Yeah, it is hard. Especially when I was fat. They knew me at McDonald's because for breakfast, I would get 2 bacon, egg, and cheese bagels, 3 hash browns, and
that's just all emotional eating.
Literally. And 2 orange juices.
Damn.
And then for lunch,
that does sound like a good hangover meal.
Say, can I get a double cheeseburger, 10-piece, a large fry, medium fry? And then for dinner, I would get a double quarter pounder, a double cheeseburger, a 20-piece, a large fry, medium fry. And for lunch and dinner, I would get a large sweet tea.
So you go 3 times a day to McDonald's?
Literally.
Damn.
Yeah. So I was just, I would pull around. Hi, is this tea? Yep. Just pull around. Okay.
And they knew what you wanted.
They knew what I wanted.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I was getting UTIs because I wasn't drinking any water, just all those sweet teas.
Yeah.
Sugar. And then my doctor was like, do you want to be a diabetic? Because you're like,
there.
Yeah. You're like, almost like you're past there. Like you could just die almost tomorrow. And I'm like, whatever, diabetes, it's curable. Shut up. Hi, it's me again. Can I get a double?
Yeah, right. Oh. Well, how'd you overcome that?
So I was in a relationship for like 6.5, 7 years.
Yeah.
And I didn't know at the time, but it was draining me. It was depressing me. And we were like not compatible at all. But I feel like I was hanging on to it because we had already been together for like 4 years. And I feel like the first 4 years we were really trying to get to know each other. So I thought it was great.
Yeah.
But it was really just a learning experience of us just getting to know each other. And we should have just been friends in that time. And it started to become like really abusive. Like I was verbally abusive and then he was physically abusive. And then I was just like eating away all the pain.
Yeah.
And like I cut everybody off. I cut my family off, my friends, like society, literally. And then once I like left him, literally packed up all my stuff and just left, haven't seen it or heard from him since. This is not who you think I am. My name is not Tequila. I found this guy who was like, I was like searching on Instagram, and I found this guy who was doing like this workout training for like $100. Like you can work out for a whole week for $100.
Yeah.
For like 3 hours. And I was like, that's crazy. Like who does that? And so he told me about these smoothies and like just like different workouts. And so I worked out with him for like 3 months, and the smoothies really are what helped. It was like everything green, like celery, spinach, all that.
Yeah, so it's giving you all the nutrients that you need.
Yeah.
And then it's also helping curb your appetite because you have those nutrients, so your body feels good and your mind feels alert.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you go, oh, okay, so this diet thing is really important. Yeah.
And I was smoking cigarettes at the time, and I stopped. And
so you just turned it all around.
Yeah, I stopped drinking. I stopped doing everything, and I was just like drinking the smoothies as like a meal replacement, and then eating really healthy. And then I met this girl, Brittany. She helped me work out, and I also met this other personal trainer, Phil. And like they all just like got me together. They were all just like, "I love your."
So you found a support group and kind of went for. That's fantastic.
It was just like, but now I lost like 150 pounds, and like it all came off in a year.
Yeah.
And so now I feel like it was like a shock to my brain because when I look at myself in the mirror, I still see like
big. Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, my cheeks.
Yeah.
People are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, you don't. I'm like,
Yeah.
my neck.
Yeah.
They're like, you have a neck. I'm like, no, I don't. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but I mean that's the body dysmorphia that you get from it, where like you don't see yourself how other people see you. You see like the worst in yourself.
Literally.
And it really is pretty toxic to your own self-esteem.
Yeah, therapy.
Yeah. Yep, therapy. Therapy. I think that's what we'll make this one all about. Get some therapy. T, thank you so much for being on the show. I had such a good time. This was so fun, and I want to have you back, and we can just keep peeling the onion because you got a lot of layers. There's a lot of interesting stuff that I still want to get into with you. Is there anything you want to promote?
Yes, but before we leave,
okay,
can I play a game with you?
Yes, absolutely.
What do you think my favorite thing to do is?
Your favorite thing to do?
If you could just study me.
All right, your favorite thing to do. I think it's people watch.
I think I found a new best friend.
Did I nail it?
You nailed it.
I had a feeling because you're very observant of people, and you have, you're very analytical about what people do. So and then also you like to judge people a little bit. So you like to talk some shit and be like, oh, look at that. Yeah, that person, you shouldn't be wearing that. What are you doing over there?
No, but thanks again for having me on the show.
Thank you.
I will come back anytime.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is White Girl T, and that's WhyTeeTee _GIRL. And please stay tuned because that's what T said. My YouTube talk show is going to come out soon.
Yeah. I already watched a couple episodes. It's interesting. She does her talk show from her bed, which I don't do yet, but I feel like I'm inspired by that, and maybe I'll start doing some bed interviews in the future. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was a lot of fun. And make sure you follow White Girl T on Instagram. I'll put a link for that as well.
This is the Bill Squire Show.